Hello everyone, I'm Grandmaster Erwin, and in this video I'm going to look at Game 11 together with International Master Robert Riss. Game 11, I speak about the World Chess Championship between Magnus Carlsen and Vishy Anand. Robbie, today was the last game. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a pity that it's our last cooperation for this match, but
Yes.
yeah, it was an exciting game to finish with. Yeah, I think a lot of things happened, and we have a world champion. So let's go ahead.
Let's just go right into the
Jump into the
action. I saw a lot of disappointed fans when they saw another Berlin defense, but actually it became quite a different Berlin defense from what we are used to in general. Anything but drawish or dull or whatever the things, the words that come up in most people's mind. Bishop d7 is actually a much sharper continuation than King e8, which Vishy used in the previous games, I should say. What do you think? Rook d1 is the most topical reply here. Do you think Vishy wanted to go King c8 here or Bishop e7? How he?
Yeah, okay. Bishop e7 is kind of solid line still. I think it was played in the previous match, yeah. With,
right, in Chennai, yeah.
And with reverse colors, yeah. So Vishy had white in that game. It's a solid option, but I think just given the fact that he had opted for the move Bishop d7, I think there's a chance that he seriously considered the sharper alternative King c8 here.
Yeah, and this is really the sharpest line available in Berlin. I think after g4, knight e7, knight g5, bishop e8, f4, we get this very complex position. I've spent a lot of time on it myself. Actually, it's a very interesting position. Black has this bishop pair, but on the other hand, white has this huge set of pawns on the king side, and it's very unclear whether which motive is more important here.
Yeah, actually, when you see it at first hand, it looks very impressive. It's very aggressive setup from white.
Right.
But I recall a famous game by Adams. He won a very nice game
against
with black.
Caruana, yeah.
Against Caruana, and yeah, there
I think the old thinking in this lines was if white manages to get e5 and f5 in, and to sort of stabilize his position there, then white is winning. That was sort of the old thinking. But nowadays, probably with the help of computers and such tools, it became not so clear anymore. For example, here you can start with moves like h5, h6, f6. There are many breaks available, and the position is actually very sharp and very unclear here.
White's king can get pretty much exposed, yeah. Lacking.
Even in the endgame, when that pawn gets to c5, the bishop gets to c6. Perhaps at some point the h file gets opened. So that's
lot of theory. I think actually he would have chosen it, but okay, that's.
I also think so, but okay, it's guessing now.
Yeah.
Knight c3 is what Carlsen went for, not the most critical move. King c8, b3, natural development. Bishop b2, c5. Actually, c5 we should mention. I think by transposition we get into a known position, but I think b6 was played more often here, right?
Could be. It's kind of more flexible move for it because you want to play b6 anyway and king b7 later on, but perhaps the move c5 has its advantages as well. I'm not exactly sure.
I'm also not exactly sure about the details here, but Magnus plays rook ad1, b6, rook fe1. I'm going through this phase rather fast because I think it's rather standard moves from both sides. Black is getting ready to get his king to b7, connect the rooks, typical Berlin procedure. White tries to prepare some kind of e6 push, I guess, at some point, and try to liberate the bishop. I think that's the general conclusion.
Makes sense.
Bishop e6, knight d5, g5.
I like that move.
Grabbing some space on the king side, yeah?
Yeah, but it's not really aggressive, yeah? It's just trying to create some blockade.
It's very positional, I think, yeah.
It's a move I like, actually. I mean, it's a very typical move, but yeah, we see a phase where both players try to improve their own position here, so let's make a couple of more moves.
Yeah, white stabilizes his knight on d5 with c4. Anand gets his king out to b7, just like we said, to connect his rooks. a5, I was a bit surprised with a5, I must say, because I felt that after a4 it would be less easy for black to get some kind of break on this wing, and if you can have the pawns on, sometimes you have moves like a6 and b5 or okay, I thought it was not that flexible. On the other hand, Vishy proved me wrong by because in the game he was doing very, very well. But in general, it's a big. I just wanted to point out it's a big decision to fix the pawns there in this way.
On the other hand, it can also imagine if we get a opposite colored bishop ending.
Yeah.
Just imagine all the pieces of that light squared bishop on.
I mean, all the pieces off apart from this one and this one, yeah.
Yeah. So then black will just play bishop f5, bishop c2.
Right.
And these pawns are fixed, and sooner or later they will drop.
It will be like Pac-Man, more or less.
Yeah.
They will go one by one. Yeah.
So this is the point of the inclusion. There are some drawbacks as well. On the other hand, it looks like white has an overwhelming advantage in the center. He has placed his pieces very centrally, and it looks like nothing can go wrong. But actually, it's just very very difficult to undertake something with white here, I think. And white's advantage is just a little bit. It's just optical in.
Yeah, and I really like how Vishy continued here. He played knight e7, g4, and knight g6.
Makes sense, yeah. So you.
And now bishop e7. So now the rooks are finally connected. This rook is ready to go to d8, and the bishop drops back to f8, maybe to g7. So he really found the perfect setup, and it's.
And actually, here you see one of the advantages of having the pawn on g5, that it's becoming very difficult for white to get in the move f4.
Right, it's very difficult for white to make progress on the king side, and in the meantime, black has a very clear way to improve his position by, like I said, going rook d8, bishop f8, bishop g7, putting pressure on the knight, maybe on the e5 pawn. So if I would choose any side here, I would definitely choose black.
I think I had once the game myself with white. Maybe it was already like 8 years ago. I think I played.
Good old days.
Good old days when I played a Berlin myself with white, and I had absolutely no clue of what to do with white. Generally, my endgame knowledge wasn't that great at that time. Still, it's not that great, but I really felt it hard for white to prove anything here. Black is just rocky solid, and
well, we see here one of probably arguably one of the best technicians in the world getting more or less outplayed in the coming phase. So it proves that it's really difficult to play these positions well. I think.
What happened here?
He played knight d2.
Looks like improving, yeah, putting the knight on e4, but
right.
Actually it's not doing that much on e4. And later we'll see that there are problems with the protection of the pawn on e5.
Yeah, both sides continue their plans. Knight ef6, and again, it looks like white has complete control over the position. He has his stable outposts. Rooks are centralized, but now Anand makes a move which at once just destroys actually black's white's entire setup. I was really impressed with this decision. B5.
Well, that's a very nice. It's not a breakthrough, but undermining of white's pawn structure.
Yeah, it's just an amazing. It's very rare that you see a square so well defended, and black pushes the pawn there anyway. So the idea.
I think Magnus ignored the pawn. Yeah, so I mean. If you take a takes b5 here, then
if you play a takes b5 here,
then the idea is that you will push a4.
Right.
And the rook is joining play. So if the b takes a4, rook takes a4, suddenly you see this problems popping up with the pawn on c4.
Yeah, it's really starting to get dangerous. I mean, rook c1, knight f4 comes in.
Pressure on knight
f5. Here, if you take it twice, I think we will be ready to take on c4 with all kinds of b5 will be. I mean, it's clear that black is doing very, very well here.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I mean, black is better here, but it's you still have to prove something.
We should also point out that in this position, after c takes b5, black has this very strong move c6.
Yeah, this is a move I like very much. It's very nice positional pawn sacrifice because after b takes c6, king takes c6, you'll see again this backward pawn on the b file. Yeah, so next move for white will be putting a rook on the b file. Also, the knight on d5 is.
The knight is hanging now, and I think we will win it immediately because you'll probably have to move it somewhere. E3, let's say. Bishop takes b3, then a4 will fall, and this is just awful. It's just already maybe the end. Yeah, so this was really big, and at this point in the game, after b5, I really thought that we were going to see not only game 12, but that we will see it maybe with an equal score. Too optimistic. Yeah, well, in hindsight, too optimistic.
It would have been something, actually. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect. I mean, I would have never put my money on the black win, but in this particular position, yes.
But let's just see how it continued, because one thing, it's just a miracle for me. I don't know what happened there. So Magnus played bishop c3, b takes a4 was played, b takes a4, king c6. I mean, all clear. I think he makes way for the rook, perhaps in the future. Magnus now played king f3, and this is where a lot has been said already about it, and our viewers probably saw the game already. So they know that Vishy went rook b8, b4 here. But I was really wondering, why not bishop e7? What could have persuaded him not to do it? Because it looks like such a risk-free and actually very substantial advantage already here.
I think in general it's a move you hesitate a bit about it because you don't want to put your bishop on a square where it can possibly be traded. You have the bishop pair, but you have to transform your advantage here clearly because I think it's getting very concrete here because if you play king e4, which Magnus was intending,
I think he was intending this, but here bishop takes f6, e takes f6, and maybe rook e8 or something. Looks really...
Actually, the king is pretty stupid on e4 now.
It's very vulnerable. Probably you will just have to move it back, and then we're going to take on d5 and...
Yeah, so after, let's say, what the move here? King f3?
Let's say king f3.
You take on
d5.
Yes, for example, c takes.
C takes, king d6.
Yeah, and I think this is a very nice position for black because white's pawn majority on the king side isn't working.
There's no role at all, exactly.
Black has a pass c pawn here.
Right, and d5 is weak. The knight is about to jump in. So this is really, I mean, I wouldn't say lost, but it's practically speaking, it's extremely difficult for white to survive here, I think.
Dream Berlin for black.
Yeah. So this is, so this rook b8, it's such a pity actually because it was a really good game from Vishy, and after rook b8, king e4, rook b4, well, yeah, it's just not... Actually, here, I should mention that he also had this move, rook b3.
Looks a very natural move to penetrate with your rook.
There's this very nice idea, because rook b1 is, I think, the most natural reply. And now we go rook a3, rook a1, just forcing the rook to a slightly less favorable square. And now we take on c3, knight takes c3, and bishop takes c4. And actually also here, I mean... It's a very, very good composition. The bishop is coming to g7, and it's just an exchange. You have this pass c-pawns, the bishop pair. All the pieces are working well. I mean, also here, black has fantastic play.
Sure.
Yeah. So even at this point, he still had his position was so good that even here he still had every reason to be happy. But this move rook b4, he mentioned something about his nerves cracking in the press conference.
Yeah,
that's the only explanation I think, because after bishop takes, c takes, knight h5, f4 is coming.
You're opening the lines for the rooks.
It's just
infiltrate.
It's just all over. Of course, some accuracy was still required, because here, for example, king f4 would have been met by c6, and maybe this is not so easy. If you have to retreat, then maybe bishop c5.
Bishop e7.
Or bishop e7, maybe even better. Going to g5. So this was, but knight takes f4 is very accurate, and if the bishop takes e4, rook d7.
Yes, activating your pieces.
Now the rook threatens to come to c1, the knight to d5. Vishy found, I think, the most tough defense, rook a6. But anyway, it's already too late. Knight d5, rook c6, rook takes f7, bishop c5.
Yeah, I like this moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
very, very clean. Rook c7. But you have to be really cool, to play this World Championship match.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just imagining the emotions, when you're probably he recalculated this line 10 times before making.
Yes, that's what I was thinking as well. I think that it's something Magnus would play in every game very, very, very quickly without hesitating. But I mean, in this kind of moment, you don't want to spoil your advantage.
No, I'm pretty sure I would have gone rook f6, and just get it over with. I mean, get the rooks off and just no complications. But on the other hand, of course, rook takes c7 is very clean, by far the best way of converting.
It's an easy win, but you want to make sure that after king takes c7, rook c1, you're not falling in any trap because b3, rook takes c4. You're not queen.
He's just in time. b2, rook takes c5, check, followed by rook b5, stopping the pawn, and that's it. It was the last line he had to calculate in this match. King c6 is what Vishy played. Knight b5, bishop takes b5, a takes b5, king takes b5, e6, b3, king d3, bishop e7, and this was maybe the last line he had to calculate.
Oh, there was still a line here? I thought it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is. Probably there are more winning ways, but I like how he finished the game here.
He played h4, yeah, I think.
Yeah, he played h4, which I think is very... I mean, you should, of course, still pay a little bit attention with those running pawns and bishop that might come on f6 or b4. You never know, h4 is very precise. a4, g5, take, a3, and even g6 wins here, but king c3 is just very, very simple, and that ended the match, because after, for example, b2, you can even play king c2. Just first block the pawns, even put your king here if you feel like. You don't even need the rook to promote the pawns afterwards, because the bishop cannot keep both pawns from promoting. So that was the match. Suddenly, very sudden end. I'm a bit disappointed, actually.
Yeah, it's too early, the match. I got a little bit excited because it was not a walkover like in Chennai, and
yeah, I really, like I said, I mean, really, I thought at some point during this game that it's going to be game 12, and maybe even with an equal score.
Yeah.
If he goes bishop e7, and Magnus under pressure, I mean, it's really, anything can happen, I think.
Actually, during the game, when I saw the position halfway with around the moment you mentioned, I just reminded the game. It's not similar, but I remember the game Magnus had against Swidler in London candidates tournament.
Right,
the final round, he just totally cracked under the pressure.
Even the most tough people, they can crack, yeah.
Yeah, so I had some feeling that some similar thing could happen here. I mean, it's still. I mean, if he would have lost, it would have still been a match. Yeah, I mean.
Right. But then game 12 with black would be. Yeah. So now the main question is what we are going to do the next few weeks, probably.
Yeah, I have to live without you, yeah, now.
Yeah, it's just well. In any case, I hope that everyone has enjoyed our little video series.
And let's make use of the opportunity to make some congratulations to Magnus. Yeah, I think he deserves after all. And
absolutely.
And I think it was a very exciting match in general. We had a lot of interesting moments, some drama involved, some thunder.
It was a great match.
Definitely. I think for chess it was really great, and I definitely enjoyed watching just as a chess fan.
And just to finish it off with a little question for you, which is the next World Championship match we will see?
I think actually it will be held in 2 years' time.
In 2 years, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But who do you think will qualify for this match?
Yeah, okay. If you should make a guess now, then okay, I would be crazy not to mention Caruana, yeah. But things can change in the meantime. Maybe some new young guys stand up. Maybe Karyakin finds his best form back. I don't know. Right now I think Caruana. I don't think we will see Aronian or Grishuk or Vishy again. You never know it, but it depends on.
I'm also betting on Caruana, actually. I think he's ready to play next match. But anyway, that's too early now.
Yeah.
It was a great match. I thank everyone for watching. Robbie, thanks for making this video that you could put up with me.
Yeah, it was great fun, Erwin. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Yeah, see you around. Have fun. Cheers.